Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now, it looks like that we're going to be ramping up through January and on to the 4-year anniversary of the game in a rather unique way. Instead of actually like hyping up or making any mentions of the anniversary or anything leading up to it, because 4 years for a gacha game is actually a pretty solid run, not gonna lie. They're instead doing things just a little bit differently with another revisit to the Medarot Reloaded manga, with the final Orimeda of that series that we have been missing, of course, to add to the introduction of Brave Man and Dear Hero from last week. This week, of course, we have the introduction of the final model as mentioned, and in addition to her, a revisiting returnee from the days of Medarot 7 and the powerful Warlord era that he brings with him. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was announced for this week. It is going to be a relatively light week in terms of content because most of this week was essentially just kind of hyping up for a 3-week event as mentioned, but I will get to that in just a minute. But going on that tangent and going forward, let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for the Gacha Banners this week, starting us off with the second week of the year. Of course, starting that up is the brand new model that's being introduced from the Medarot Reloaded manga, and as mentioned, is the final Orimeda that we have been missing in the series, and that is SPG-0 Steam Gunner with a kit of Colonel, Giga Gatling, Shotgun, biped legs, and a brand new leg ability called Assault, which, explained briefly, takes a percentage of your shoot and your melee resist stat when you're using a scatter type attack. This can be primarily anything from Gatling, Mega Gatling, Giga Gatling, or even Shotgun in this case. And it is also worth noting that Steam Gunner here is the first ever introduction of this skill on a female model, which already sets her off on a really nice tier above the rest, especially when it comes to long-range combat and just what she brings to the table, for a very synergetic kit that specializes in scatter and collateral-based damage. Alongside her, we have seen this model a number of times in the past with event stuff, but he is officially being made available in the game as a pullable model in the gacha, and that is CHA-0 Chugan Hao, with a kit of Fight Boost, Charge Blade, Break Hammer, Wield Legs, and the leg ability of Weapon Master. Now, folks that have played any game from 7 through 9, or even have sampled him in fairly recent when he was an event in NB NPC, he can be a very forwardly aggressive type of enemy, but does require just a little bit of charge if you are planning to use him correctly, as of course denoted by the Charge Blade. But he still can be a very synergetic and rather powerful force to be reckoned with on the field when it comes to making use of powerful melee damage up close and personal, especially when it comes to punishing foes that like to pack the weight, while he gets to maintain the high speed and the advantage. In addition to these two, we also have reruns of rather popular models also known or that made notable appearances in the Reloaded manga as well. Starting that lineup, we have GKD-0 Gokudo, the iconic Son Goku type, with a kit of Mobile Boost, Double Break Hammer, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Acrobatics. Now, the first thing I do want to also mention on Gokudo is that he has been in the game since launch, and he also is a Spotlight banner, which means he is already available at any time in the permanent pool, so there really is no real reason to pull for him in particular unless you're just absolutely dead set on having him, because pulling in any other banner will still give you a chance at his parts at any other time that you try to pull. In addition to Gokudo, we do also have DVL-03 Blossomail with Destroy, Double Sacrifice, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Bloodstain, who is also capable of transforming into a more bestial and feral-like form. In this form, she exchanges Biped Legs for Multi, but her entire kit becomes Shooting Variant Destroy, much like her head in base mode, and maintains the Bloodstain type ability. And Blossomail is also capable of tune-ups, so if you have not had the chance to collect her yet, or do want to make her just a little bit more aggressive than before, you do have the opportunity to do so with the tune-up treatment. But at base, Blossom Mail is one of those ones that doesn't look like she offers much at first glance. But if you are using a shield of pretty much any kind that's not a meta change type shield, she is going to break through it like it were made of paper. In addition to her, we also have SBI-05 Yacht Spider with Deathlock, Double Power Hammer, multi-legs, and the leg ability of Weapon Master, also much like Chugan Hao. So this was actually the first model from the Reloaded manga that was introduced in the game officially, alongside Torito Beetle, who was the event reward at that time around. So Yacht Spider has been around a pretty hot minute, and has cycled every here and there, but it can be a very powerful model and force to be reckoned with if you are in need of someone who deals collateral damage, much akin to the same way that Steam Gunner might, but just up close and personal. And last but most certainly not least, we also have KWG-06 Tyrell Beetle, with a kit of Desperate, Double Beam Sword, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Fortress, already kind of solidifying this rather bulky and imposing looking King Stag Beetle type. And as if that wasn't enough, Tyrell Beetle is also capable of transforming into a vehicle-type form by tucking in his body. In this form, he exchanges his kit entirely for Laser, Break, Napalm, Wheeled Legs, and the leg ability of Adapter, which will give him A rank on every terrain across the board, of course minus S rank on Cyber, which everybody gets, to keep a very wide and diverse array of skills he can bring to the table. Now, when I have mentioned in the past about the possibility of revisiting other models outside of my regraded series, Tyrell Beetle was actually one of the few that has come to mind, primarily because when I graded him the first time, the reason he got the score he did was primarily because you couldn't overclock medals for beyond level 100 in this case, or at least 150 for medals. But now that we're able to officially, if I ever do go back and revisit Tyrell Beetle, I will very likely amend his score to reflect that, because now he can be a danger up close and personal or from afar, depending on which way you choose to use him. In terms of gacha priority, aside from Gokudo, which is the one you really want to avoid, since again he's a spotlight, there really is no major preference one way or another on which one to prioritize, because they all are really good in one way or another. Blossom Mail for the tune-up and the very powerful shield breaking skills she brings to the table. Yacht Spider for Deathlock and very imposing break hammers and very good multi-legs. Chugan Hao for high speed and good punishment between Charge Blade and Break Hammer. And of course Steam Gunner if you just really like steampunk aesthetic, much like I do, no judgment. And then any kind of scatter damage that has suddenly become a major spike in meta thanks to Silent Leader. Now, in terms of fierce battles we have this week, it's going to be relatively lower key. It's a lot of still very viable skills, but mostly geared toward newcomers and rookies that are just starting out the game. And starting this week off with the fierce battles, we have HWK Fly Falcon with triple napalm, flight legs, and the leg ability of Assail. Behind him, we have HPP 0 Hippopotamus with stealth, double break hammer, tank legs, and the leg ability of Trap Buster. And then last but not least, we also have KZA-01 Kaizo Korobe, the wide-ranged and diverse model with Gatling, rifle, sword, biped legs, and the leg ability of Acrobatics. Now, as mentioned, all three of these models have something they can bring to the table in one form or another. Fly Falcon for triple napalm on pretty much all three of his parts, Hippopotamus for break hammer, even if they both are heavy, and Kaizo Korobe if you really just want that all-round diverse, in this case, essentially all-rounder hybrid fighter on the field that isn't necessarily designed to deal damage, but is mostly there to supplement whoever on the field is going to be dealing that damage. However, if I did have to give an MVP of the week to somebody, I would honestly have to give it to Kaizo Korobe, primarily for the fact that he is the better well-rounded one of the three, because Gatling, rifle, and sword are all very conventional skills you can never go wrong with using one way or another. And as I said, even though Break Hammer on Hippopotamus is heavy and Napalm on a Fly Falcon are also good as well, it still would never hurt to collect all three just for the sake of having them on hand and keeping them in your parts libraries. Now, this actually has been going on for a number of days now, but just so I can officially touch base on it, the 35th anniversary of the Masahiro Wataru series as a whole has recently come and gone, and for Medarot to help celebrate that momentous milestone for a very old series like Masahiro Wataru, they have opted to rerun the 2 Gacha Banners, the Medarotters, and the event reward of Cross Warrior in a way to help celebrate and honor that momentous achievement. That being said, if you are out of the loop or have not logged into the game for the last couple days, this is your opportunity to collect on a collab that has not come around for a good 2 years now. But to highlight those models briefly, for the Gacha, we have MEW0 Saber Dragon with Blow Away, Flame, Thunder, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Charge Fight. We have MEW01 Dark Tiger with Hyper Missile, Tornado, Anti-Air, Multi-Legs, and the leg ability of G Control, which is also a Gacha model. And then we did also have MEW02 Cross Warrior with Power Hammer, Sword, Pile, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Dead or Alive, which could be earned for free by participating and completing the limited time Super Invasion that went up the same time the Gacha Banners did. So essentially, if you could not pull for 0 or 01, 02 you can get for free just for going in and clearing it in about 5 minutes. And then, of course, we also have the Medarotter skins for Ikki and Kuji that can be earned simply by just logging into the game every day for the week while you go about your dailies. Now, just as a heads up, these banners in particular and the login will be closing on the 18th, so roughly about Thursday next week. So do make sure that if you did miss this collab and want to try to collect on them, or if you just want to collect Cross Warrior and the Medarotter skins with the daily logins, this is your chance to do so. Do make sure that you don't miss a day with that, and go complete that Super Invasion sooner than later. Now, on the topic of Super Invasions, we are also getting another special Super Invasion joining the roster as well of available invasions to complete, this time featuring Kagami and Katsura, as well as Musha Beetle and Kairen. Again, touching on the highlight of the Medarot Reloaded manga. There's no real telling what the rules and modifiers of this one might be, but I do fully expect to see a number of returning faces that did make notable appearances in that manga in one form or another. Musha Beetle and Kairen especially, because they are, of course, the highlight ones there. And of course, if the artists of Musha Beetle and Kairen, my buddy Escardus or Penguin Kotak, and Pochifu as well, Pochifu Co. also on Twitter, I'm pretty sure that you guys are probably going to keep this banner up forever because these two are kind of your children, and I do wish you the best of luck on collecting them if you have not had the opportunity to yet. Now, with the event itself, this on the other hand is kind of touching base on how the previous weeks have been. This week in particular, we do have yet another opportunity to earn even more medals that we missed through the year of 2023. Such as the Esper medal, which was actually collaboration medal, so I'm actually kind of surprised that they have that one in there. The Fan medal, Orca medal, the Earth medal, which is the only one of this one I'm missing, so I'm looking forward to that one. And this is going to be a very good opportunity if you are new to the game or a rookie just starting out. You honestly could not have joined at a better time, because parts may come and go when it comes to the diversity, but it's the medals that give you the best flexibility when it comes to building teams and building bots. Because even if you may not have the parts on hand, or if you have to supplement something, if you can't fully match it with the medal, that's where your big hookup is going to be. So definitely make sure that you participate in this event and collect on those while through the time that this event is ongoing. Now, they did also mention that this will be the start of a 3-week event, each week highlighting something different. Now, I'm not 100% sure how exactly they're going to be highlighting that or what all is going to be going into it, but in terms of bonuses and how it's going to be playing out, this week to start us off will be ticket-based. So in terms of this, it will be mixed parts encouraged. So if you do manage to say collect Tyrell Beetle or Yak Spider there with that +3 bonus, or +3 red tickets per part, Torito Beetle, Shaman Miko from last week, or Gokuda will give you a +2, and the Fierce Battles at +1 each. For members in the red tickets, it's going to be relatively the same thing. It's going to be Koishi Maru, Azuma, or Tenma from Medarot 9 at a +3 if you have any of their SR variants. For R rank, it'll be +2, and N rank, it'll be +1 respectively. Then for the gold ticket variant, it'll be, of course, Steam Gunner, Chugan Howl, and Blossom Mail at the +1 bonus each. And then, of course, the SR Medarotter Kagami, Katsura, or Kagami in either form, R rank, or N rank, or SR rank, for the golden ticket bonuses, respectively. Now, again, I do like to believe this event may or may not be relatively forgiving, but because it does have the boss fight event, it may or may not be. It is kind of hard to tell, But because a lot of these models are ones that we have seen in the past a number of times in one way or another, I'd like to believe that unless you are a newcomer or a rookie, you may have a relatively decent time building a team around what's required so that you can earn all the rewards between the regular event and the boss fight, if there is indeed a boss fight phase in this one. If there isn't, kindly disregard that. It's still ticket-based, which means you can still earn them all in an event store anyway. In that case, it'll be just a little bit more forgiving one way or another. Now, in terms of community stuff, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any translation endeavors or projects. As always, and just to touch base on it again, the Medarot 3 project is still very close and essentially and tentatively 100% complete. Mostly just a couple minor screens and some mostly just grammar bugs or grammar checks that need done before they can officially mark it off and say it's complete. They have talked about wanting to do Medarot 3 parts collection in tandem with Medarot 4, but they are still in very early discussion and decompilation of that. And we are still always in need of translators to assist us with that. So if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, or if you know somebody that perhaps might be willing to lend a hand with that, definitely have them reach out to us, join our Discord in the link provided below. We can definitely get them in touch with the right people to fill them in on what has been done and what still needs done up to this point. Because there has been a lot of discussion for wanting to do, say, Medarot 4 or 5 or Navi, or even the later titles like 7 through 9, but we need the manpower to do so. Now, if you do not know anybody that can help, or if you are unable to help yourself, but still would like to donate to the cause, down in the comments below, there will be a link to a crowdfunding that Variant, my buddy Variant, that has been one of the two heads of this project, has opened up. So if you would like to donate to it so that they can commission people to translate so we can lighten the workload a little bit, that also would be greatly appreciated as well. Now, with the weekly art highlights here on the MNN, this one here by my buddy Flintlock GP, I honestly was just gushing over, mostly just for a number of reasons. I've always loved the unique art style that he has, but this one I just could not get over, and it's the fact of a goth bullet dressed in winter wear with the little kitten mittens, the scarf, and the hat. It was just absolutely adorable, and I just could not get enough of that, and I'm really hoping that he continues that. Flintlock, if you are watching this or do manage to catch this, I would love to see more of that, and definitely do not stop, because Medarot in comfy clothes like this, it's something you don't see a lot of art of in general, and essentially kind of tied to the phrase, if you're cold, they're cold, let them in. But definitely give Flintlock a follow if you'd like to see more art like that in your feed. Do also follow Twitter user Akiko here, who I have highlighted on the past as well for wonderful Medarot art. This one here highlighting Dairy Mouse in the ever iconic Steamboat Willie style and cartoon. Honestly, I really couldn't help but laugh at this one, because pretty much ever since the day, not even the day, the very moment that Steamboat Willie officially went public domain as of New Year of 2024, I've counted probably trailers for 4 horror games, 1 for a horror fan film, and then now the fan art. Oh boy, the fan art has been just absolutely going bonkers with it. So it only makes sense that with Dairy Mouse as one of our resident mice in the Medarot family, that somebody would capitalize on that. And I still love the cartoony, simple style there that you did give Dairy Mouse there as well. So definitely give both of these artists a follow if you'd like to see more awesome Medarot art in your feed, not just from these two, but also from ones that they follow, and support our artists in the community. Lastly, just to touch on it once more, as I do every week going forward, I am always open for commission between 2D art and 3D models. As you see here for my general pricing, it does kind of scale relative to the complexity of the design or the request in general. I can do live 2D models cut up, ready to rig. I just can't rig them because I just can't wrap my head around it, but if that would certainly cut down on the cost of you having to start up on your own, because now all you have to do is find a rigger and not somebody that can also draw your art. I also do 3D models, as you see here, just a couple samples of the many things I've done over the 6 years that I have been self-taught in this. I can build it, rig it, optimize it, and UV map it to a texture. So I do know the whole process of making a model and making it look pretty. You can use these for content creation as a VTuber, a 3D VTuber. You can use them for VR chat or MMD, or whatever kind of animation process that you like to use. I do also do standard art of varying levels of complexity and detail. I do emotes. I would love to be able to reach out and try to keep my prices affordable on purpose, primarily for all the up-and-coming YouTubers and content creators that need stuff to get them off the ground. So if you are looking to commission me, possibly, definitely reach out to me in my DMs on Twitter primarily, or on Discord if you would like to reach out there as well, and we can most certainly make something happen. But with all that being said, I do believe that covers everything for this week's episode. Like I said, not a whole lot of really big stuff to cover, but very likely we'll be amping up as the weeks progress and we get closer to the 4-year mark and the anniversary of Medarot S as a whole. But with that being said, if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community on there that I do also run and manage. You can also reach out to us on Discord and join our community there with the link provided below as well. And this allows you to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to fan art, merchandise, contests that we hold, my weekly episodes, or anything else related to our favorite little fighting robots. The community Discord, which is officially available on Discord servers as well to be searched and found. That'll be the best way to keep the closest ear to the ground on the action on anything to do whatsoever. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at IsaGamiKura, so if you have any questions or feedback or comments, or would love just to stop in and say hello, I leave my DMs open for that very reason, especially if you also would like to commission me for a piece of art of one way or another. In addition, if you are a streamer, content creator, or a YouTuber and would love to collaborate sometime, whether that means having you here on my channel as a guest host, of which there is always a seat waiting for somebody who'd like to join the fun, or if you'd like to have me stop in on yours for an interview or a friendly game or a chat or whatever, I would love to coordinate with you, and definitely reach out to me in those DMs and we can most certainly make something happen. Lastly, do give these wonderful friends of mine in the Medarot community a follow as well. My dear friend Moen, who manages the unofficial Medarot fan page on Twitter as well, who, much like me, also stays very up in the know with anything to do with our favorite fighting robots. So much like I do getting my news from the official channel, they do as well, and do give them your support just as you would me by following them on Twitter and keeping up to date with all the Medarot knowledge pretty much right from the source. And then I do want to also highlight Kiyomasa F, who is actually the artist that designed Steam Gunner, mostly just so I can give a shout out to them in the community and just kind of support the artists that in our wonderful Medarot community as a whole, because we have a lot of wonderful art one way or another, and we can't do it without the artists in general. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping by, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami on the Medarot News Network, signing out.